welcome to your magical messaging and mindset tip with Christine Collins. Hey there, it's Christine Collins, and I've got for you today a really fun answer to a question that I get asked pretty often, and it's come up again. So I've decided to give you a little bit of a tool to work with. So the question that comes up is, what should I do when I have that moment that I'm noticing that there's a belief or something kind of sketchy in there that doesn't feel very good? What do I do next from there? So the first thing I want to say is give yourself a little bit of kudos, congratulations for noticing it, because what this tells me first and foremost is that you are self-aware, you're paying attention, and you are actively invested in your own mental well-being and in your own mindset. And it might not sound huge, but it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And so once that's happened, and I've had moments like this, I've had one even recently where something occurred in my life and I was like, ooh, like my default thought pattern was to kind of make this assumption about the situation. And that assumption included a belief about myself that didn't feel very good. And I wasn't even aware of it until the situation happened, and then I noticed it. So definitely recognizing the value first in those situations and in your own observation that you're like, this is kind of sketchy. I'm not really liking this and I want to change something about it. So then the next piece is to kind of identify like, how significant is this? And a lot of times, once we catch something like this, we can suddenly see like its ripple effect in so many areas of life. So in my situation, it happened in a personal setting with a family member, but the more I looked into it and dug deeper, the more I realized this belief is actually turning up in my business. It's turning up everywhere for me. And therefore, it's well worth my time to play with it and maybe do a little shifting of that issue. Step 1, congratulate yourself. Step 2, decide if it's worth your time to kind of work with it. And most often it is, because if you've already noticed it, it's showing up for you in places that are relevant. Step 3 then is to take care of it. And we begin doing that by poking holes at it. So we do some conscious work and we can do some subconscious work. At the conscious level, it's more kind of like the thinking, the thought processes, more of the cognitive side of things. And so by poking holes in it, you're doing things like if the belief says, I always have this happen, or I never have this happen, it always feels this way, to notice that that's not completely true. It's really not always. It's really not never. It's sometimes, and it may be really often, but there was that one time when it didn't go that way. There was that one time, even if it was 6 months ago or a year ago, you can kind of start to poke little holes into that belief to notice the moments when it wasn't completely true. So now what you're doing is you're doubting it. You're doubting the belief. You're poking holes. You're kind of like questioning, maybe this isn't as true as I thought it was. So now you're starting to ask yourself, what if it's not completely true? What if it's not completely true all the time? And now you've allowed yourself to become open to doubting. And you can continue on that path for a little period of time until you're ready to actually do something with it. If you have assessed, this belief is not serving me, it's actually hindering me, it's stopping me from getting things I want, from being confident, from going after things that I'm interested in my business or in my life, from having the relationships I want to have, from working with the clients I want to work with, whatever that looks like for you, you've identified this belief doesn't really fit in your life anymore, and therefore it doesn't have a space in that sacred tower of beliefs where we hold everything that we will continuously believe. All of our beliefs around family, spirituality, business, life, all of the things that you hold true, it doesn't have a place there anymore. It's time to cast it out of that little sacred tower. So you can jettison that belief off, sanction it down to the dungeon, slip it into the archive folder, whatever kind of visual works well for you. Get rid of that belief, kind of kick it out from the realm of all of your sacredly held beliefs. And once you visualize doing that, we want to also replace it with something new, something that feels better. Now, I would like to just give you a suggestion. Absolutely take it as you will, do with it as you like. But my recommendation is when you're changing a belief is that you make a small shift rather than try to make a big leap at the conscious level. When we're doing this is like conscious logical work. So rather than trying to go from I never make a sale, or it never works for me, or I'm always messing something up, or I never get it right with technology, or whatever that is, instead of trying to go from there all the way up to like, I'm a master at this thing, or I get it right every time. That's a really big leap. And if it doesn't feel believable to you, it's going to be much more difficult to adopt it. So I recommend shifting to something that just feels slightly better, like one level up, because we can continue to do this. We can do a little up level today and then revisit it, in a month and do another little up level until we get you to where you're actually feeling like, yes, this feels really good. So try going into, all right, well, sometimes I get it wrong, but sometimes I get it right. And the most important piece is I am open to the possibility of this getting better. So whatever that is for you, whatever the hiccup or challenge is, that you're allowing yourself to be open to the possibility that things could look different in the future than they have in the past, and even than how they look today. So you're opening yourself up now. You're just opening that little window that this could get better. Maybe it'll work this time. If it doesn't work this time, maybe it'll work next time. And you just kind of allow that opening to happen. And it sounds like not a big deal, but let me just tell you, it's a big deal. What you're doing is moving that dial just enough to let some of the magic in. And the universe now has a huge opportunity to kind of show you. And the more you focus on believing in the new thing, the new belief, the more you will notice it actually happening for you. The more you'll get evidence of that new little up-leveled belief showing up for you in your life and in your experience. Then if you decide you want to really up-level and you want to do some deeper, bigger shifts, you can use those subconscious tools that we have, like hypnosis, to make bigger shifts in a faster amount of time. But for today, you have a nice little bite-sized tool that you can use on hand whenever it pops up for you in your life. So I hope you found this enlightening and helpful. Once again, I'm Christine Collins. Check me out at transformcreate.com. And until next time, I wish you a most magical and creative rest of your day. Thanks for listening. This is Christine Collins at transformcreate.com.